Hello, my friends. Happy Sunday. Hope you've had a wonderful week. I have. I hope you have too. Hey, we are ready to start a whole new unit of study, and this unit is going to be called The Miracles of Jesus. You guys want to study some miracles? You want to see some wonderful things that Jesus did that only He can do? Yeah. Me too. So we're going to go through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We call those the Gospels, right? Those are the four first books of the New Testament. So our last study before Christmas, we were in the Old Testament, right? We were way at the beginning of the Old Testament with Genesis and Exodus. Now we've jumped far ahead to the New Testament when Jesus was here, right? And walking on earth. And we're going to talk each week about a different miracle and some of the things that he did while he was here on earth. All right. So let's start with the very first one. Are you ready? All right. So we're going to study out of this book again, the Child Story Bible from Catherine Voss. So I'll read from different Bibles throughout the unit, but today we're going to read this one. It's a short one, but it's a fun one. So get ready. Here we go. All right. Jesus at the wedding feast. Have you ever been to a wedding? Yeah? I have. Isaiah just got married this year, so we just were at a big wedding. All right. A few miles from Nazareth was a little town called Cana. And people of two villages probably visited each other often since they were so near each other. So it would be kind of like Nashville and Brentwood. People from Nashville and Brentwood could get together all the time, right? Because it was so close. Their children played together in the fields, and every year the people walked together down the road to Jerusalem to celebrate the Passover. You guys remember Passover? All right. Mary, the mother of Jesus, had some friends in Cana. A few days after Jesus met his first disciples, this was just the beginning of his work on earth, right? Just meeting those first disciples. The people, Mary and Jesus and their friends, were all invited to a big wedding party. In those days, it was a custom to celebrate the wedding by holding a great feast. All right. Now, this wasn't just like a dinner. This was a feast. Sometimes the party lasted for 2 or 3 days. That's a big party, isn't it? The guests had a good time talking and eating and drinking. Many people beside Jesus and his friends went to the wedding there. More people than had been expected. Uh-oh. So more people showed up than they thought were coming. Before the feast was over, the servants discovered that there was not enough wine for all the guests, and they were embarrassed. Oh no. Mary discovered the trouble. She knew that her son had very great power. She did not ask him to help, but she simply had to tell him, "They have no wine." And to the servants she said, "Do whatever he tells you to do." She believed that Jesus would help. Are you the kind of guy that would help when your mom just gives you the idea that some help is needed? All right. Near at hand, there were 6 stone jars, each one almost as large as a barrel. Water for the household was kept in those jars, for the Jews washed their hands and feet before eating. All right. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." When they had done this, he said, "Pour some out and take it to the ruler of the feast." So that was the head guy. The servants had filled the jars with water. What they drew out was not water, but fragrant, miraculous wine. All right, so they filled it with water, and then when they served it again, it had turned to wine. Can you imagine how surprised they must have been when they discovered this? The man who was chosen to be the ruler of the feast had to taste the food before it was served to the others. And before it was served to the guests. You know, like when your mom was cooking, she'll always taste it before she serves her guest, right? So this ruler, that was his job, was to taste it to make sure it was okay. The servants brought him some of the new wine, but they did not tell him where it came from. When he had tasted it, the ruler of the feast said to the bridegroom, "Usually people serve the best wine first and then save the other wine for later, the one that's not so good. But you've served your best wine now." So he's like, this wine is even better than what it was before, better than the wine they served at the beginning of the wedding. How could this be? This miracle was a sign of the wonderful power that Jesus had and which he used to help others. So it wasn't the wonderful power Jesus had to do things for himself. It was the wonderful power that Jesus had that he would use to help and serve others. It was the first time people realized that Jesus could do things no one else could do. His disciples remembered that. And he said to Nathanael, "You shall see greater things than this." And they believed him. So that was the first miracle they had seen. He just gathered all his disciples. So it was really important for them to see his power, right? All right. I also love that Mary didn't say, "Jesus, go and do this now," like maybe some of our moms would do, right? She didn't say, "Go and take care of this need. I know you can do it." She just said, "They need wine." And so let's talk about this a little bit. Now, you might be wondering, who cares if they have enough wine, right? Because to you guys, it's not really that important. But think about a birthday party. If you were at a birthday party and suddenly the host had to say, "I'm sorry, no cake for you." They ran out of birthday cake. Would you be sad? Yeah. And would the hostess maybe be a little embarrassed? "I'm sorry, there's not enough cake." Right? All right. That's kind of what it was like. The wine was a big custom, like when you go to a birthday party, you pretty much know there's going to be cake. Well, if they go to a wedding, they know there's going to be wine. And the cool thing is, when they served the wine that Jesus had created, it was even better. So let's look at a few more questions. Jesus didn't have to do this because he was ordered. He did it because he cared, right? That's what the miracles are about. These miracles were not because he wanted to show his great power. He did these miracles to help people, to let them know that he was there for them. Right? Just like God and Jesus are here for us right now. We know that he performed these miracles because we read this in the Bible. You may have even experienced a miracle that Jesus has done for you in your life. But this specific one was very visible, right? It was that a lot of people were there. Remember, it was like 2 cities full of people all come for this wedding. So it was going to show a lot of people what he could do. And here's what he did. So they said, Mary, I love this, "Do whatever he says." That's what she told the servants, and they did just what she said. So he said, "Go get your vessel of wine." So here's our vessel of water, not wine. Here's our vessel of water. So they had big clay jugs. Sorry, mine's not clay, but it was the closest thing I had. And they said, "Okay, fill it with water." And so that's what they did. They filled it with water. And they took the same vessel, and he said, "Now take it over to the ruler of the feast," because he has to taste everything first, right? And so here's the water, hasn't changed, and he poured it for the feast. What happened? It had changed to wine. In that time, when they walked from where he poured it with water to give it to the ruler, it had changed to wine. How did that happen? Well, guess what? This was not a miracle. I put food coloring in the bottom of that one. You probably guessed that, right? But with Jesus, there was no food coloring. He had changed it to wine, and he did that to help the people there and for them to see that he can do miracles. Only he could have done that, right? I could pour food coloring in the bottom of a glass. It looked kind of fun, but it doesn't taste like wine, and it wasn't wine because I can't do miracles. Only God could do miracles, and through Jesus. Now, Jesus, when Mary first asked him, at first he's like, "No, I don't think it's my time yet." Have you guys ever felt like that, where your mom asks you to do something and you're like, "No, I'm not strong enough," or "I'm not old enough," or "I'm not smart enough," or "I'm not whatever"? Jesus was kind of like, "This is not really my time yet." But Mary encouraged him. I love that even his earthly mom could encourage him to go and help people, and he did it. So think about this week. What are some things that you think maybe you're not strong enough, brave enough, old enough to do? Is God asking you to do them anyway? Look into that. Think about that when God asks you to do things. And then the final thought I wanted to bring to you guys is, why was Jesus able to do this? He was able to do it because he is the one and only true Son of God, right? He could do this because he is God. He is God's Son. And so that's why he could perform miracles. Do you need a miracle this week? I know there's a lot of people sick right now. There's a lot of people going through struggles. Pray and ask Jesus to help you. He can still perform miracles today and tomorrow and the next day. So thanks for watching, you guys. I hope you learned a little bit. I hope you will pray and ask Jesus to touch your heart, to show you things, and to help you do things that he wants you to do through him. And if you need a miracle this week, just ask. Talk with God this week. Spend some time. All right, you guys, I love you, and I will see you next week.